Hi everyone, how are you? And you're catching me right now on the tennis court. And I actually wanted to talk about what's inspiring me today. And it's actually not necessarily tennis, which always inspires me, but a lot of the new things that I'm trying that are inspiring me. And there's nothing more than I love than getting more skills and learning to be better. So a few things that are inspiring me: being a lion or a liger. I know it sounds crazy, but I'll let you in on it. Second, focus, and kind of like defining what focus means. And the best definition that I can think of, which is, definition that's mine, or maybe I borrowed and saw it somewhere, but you focus on what you want, and what you want, you focus on. It's circular, and it works, and it's true. And the third thing that is inspiring me, I don't think there's three, it's just two. All of the things. So let's back up. Let's go back to what's inspiring me, and that's winning, of course, at everything that you do. Like, of course, I got injured recently at the Australian Open, and that was unideal. It happened, or not even at the Australian Open, before the Australian Open even started, I had to withdraw. So for you tennis fans, that's the first major of the year. For those who aren't tennis fans, it's the first major of the year. So, of course, the one thing you want to do is play the majors, whether it's like a Super Bowl or the World Series or the Australian Open. Those are the things you want to do. And I got to play one major last year, I think one the year before. So, of course, those are the things that I love to do and the things that really get me up and motivated. So, since I wasn't able to play that major, of course, it was a little overwhelming to be hurt again. But then I thought about what's inspiring me and what do I want to focus on. And I was talking to my sister, and we had this whole conversation. Maybe that's a whole separate thing that we can talk about for you guys, is what kind of animal we were. I can't tell you the context of the conversation because she has not approved this, but I will say that she told me that she was a liger. Of course, I laughed, I died. I don't know anyone who says, what animal would you want to be if you were an animal? Or what's your spirit animal? Nobody says liger, but Serena Williams, of course, the greatest athlete to hit the planet, she says liger. So there you go, there you have it. Now you know what you want to be when you grow up. It's a liger, straight from Serena Williams. And guess now what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be a liger too, in a little bit, but not necessarily that I'll be a liger. It's not necessarily my personality. I am actually a black widow. We'll get to that. Let me go back to the liger. So what does a liger do? Because we're talking about being able to win in no matter what circumstance, and sometimes really difficult circumstances where you feel like you're pressed against the wall and you don't have any choice, but you still want to win. And she says she was a liger because she says she comes out of any circumstance. I'm trying to word this right without giving it all away. But she says, or all that Serena has not allowed me to say away, but that under any circumstance, she has got to win. And so she brings the attitude of not only a lion, but that of a tiger. And when you bring them together, obviously you have a liger. So there's another animal that we've made up to, but we're not ready to share that with you today. It's just gonna be the liger. But I thought about it, and when you face circumstances, and I'm here with another injury, what do you want to do? Do you want to get up or sit down? And you just want to be a liger. You just want to get up and look back and say, I won. Even in a circumstance maybe where you can't win, but you have to do something where you feel like you can win. So I guess that's tip number one, be a liger in life. Now, black widows are definitely a lot more silent. Like a tiger or a liger or a lion, you see them coming, they're running at you, they will maul you, you know it's happening. I'm more or less a black widow, and no matter what, I also have to win too, because not many people beat the black widow as well. So I'm a little more subtle, but I also must win, perhaps even more than Serena, at any and all cost. And when I go into any situation, I just think I've got to win. And so that's on the court, in life, in personal circumstances, whatever it may be, I've got to win. So black widow attitude, but I really like the flash of the liger, right? So I would say kind of pattern yourself off that. Okay, so next is like the focus, and focus on what you want, and what you want is what you're focused on. That's super powerful. And in life, I think one of the most challenging things is definitely focusing, because focusing takes discipline, and focusing also takes application, and it also takes endurance. So let's start with discipline. For me, discipline is freedom, because when I'm disciplined, I get the things that I want. When I am not disciplined, I get the things that I don't want. So discipline in itself to me is freedom. And when we accept that discipline and we accept the freedom of that, then life is open for us. Focus equals discipline. Okay, so number 2, are you really going to apply yourself? Are you really gonna be all in? Are you gonna show up every single day for what you want and what you wanna achieve? Or are you gonna do a half job? I just remember my mom would say, don't do no half job, quote unquote. And like she would give you this face. It was mean and scary. And so growing up, I found out that a half job equated to that mean and scary face, and that I didn't want anything to do with it. But if you are okay with a half job, if you're okay with not getting the things that you want, if you're okay with average, and average is not bad, as long as you're happy. If you're happy, all the things are good. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things as long as you're happy. But if you're not happy and you want more and you need more to be happy, then you're gonna have to apply yourself. No half jobs, all the way in. And Serena and I used to always joke that in tennis we would say, carry me off in the stretcher, but I'm gonna do what it takes to win. And we would always say that we were on a stretcher and we'd be like doing the peace sign right before we expired. But whatever it took. And that's the attitude you gotta have in life. Number 3 is endurance. So if you got endurance, you can run the race. Life is a race. And it may not be a sprint, sometimes you may have to sprint, but it is a race where you continue, and you gotta have that endurance. So you have to have endurance to continue your focus, continue your discipline, continue your application, and have the endurance to continue through the hard times too, because life's not gonna be easy, life's beautiful, but it's got some difficulties, and to have that endurance to get through the hard times, so that way you can enjoy that moment when it is a good time, which hopefully will be most of the time. So you have to have that endurance, and those are the things that are inspiring me right now: endurance, application, focus. Those are lessons I probably should know, but sometimes they just come right to the forefront and they become so appropriate at the time. And so that's what's inspiring me. So tell me what your animal is that's inspiring you. And maybe on our next video, we can like kind of go through those animals and like what those animals are and how, you know, how they're inspiring you, and how maybe they could inspire me. All right, you guys, I'll see you next week.